to the Racing Matters podcast with Ron Robinson and Sean Travaglia.
Good afternoon, Sean. What time do you call this? By the way, it's the Racing Matters podcast, just in case you're wondering.
Ron's trying to get me into trouble before we even start. We're recording later than normal today because I failed to get back to my desk in time. Won't bore people with why, but I wasn't there in time, so you've had to do it later. Slapped wrist from Ron from me. And we move swiftly on before I dig myself a bigger hole than I'm in already. And we start off with the dreaded affordability
checks.
Every week, it never goes away, does it? And if people are getting bored, so we'll probably keep it short and sweet, I suppose. Gambling Commission have postponed yesterday evening, I believe.
Do you know what I was going to ask about that? Because I know the result was supposed to be announced yesterday, wasn't it?
I believe they've postponed it to look into it further.
My God.
In simplistic terms, for anyone who's new to the podcast and isn't bored with this subject, even I'm bored with it and I have to work with it all the time, they're supposed to be frictionless. I had a meeting with the then Sports Minister, Stuart Andrew, along with my HBF colleagues. It wasn't just me, while the Conservatives were in government when this first started, and they promised us that it would be frictionless, i.e. you and I wouldn't even know they were checking our finances. We wouldn't have a clue. If only it had turned out that way. Ron will tell you very shortly, I'm sure, about an account he attempted to open while they asked him for a pint of his blood and everything else. I'll let you go through the details of that.
Yeah.
Long story short, as you've noticed, the Betting and Gaming Council are considering threatening legal action against the Gambling Commission. I presume, though, potentially against the government. I'm not really sure who that would be. I got a call from the Racing Post last Sunday saying, what do I think of their legal case? And I said, basically, I'm not a lawyer. How would I know?
Well, there is that, yeah.
I don't think this sort of thing's ever been tried before. I wouldn't have a clue how it would stand up in a court of law, not the slightest idea. For once, racing and the betting guys are acting in tandem because neither of us want this to
sounds like it.
What I did comment, it was never published, by the way, obviously it wasn't exciting enough for them to bother publishing it, was that what everyone needs to remember, and this goes with all sorts of things that go on, this is an added cost on the bookmakers to ask for and process all this information. Who do you think's paying for that, Ron? Do you think they're taking it out of their bottom line, or do you think the punters are going to pay?
I couldn't possibly say.
It's a tough one, that, isn't it? But
yeah.
That's what they need to understand. We're going to see shorter odds, tighter over rounds, reduction in bonuses. Best odds guaranteed has almost disappeared entirely now anyway.
Yeah.
All they're doing is shoving people to the black market, which the whole point of this was to protect vulnerable punters or vulnerable gamblers, I suppose is a better phrase. It's not just horse racing by any stretch of the imagination. So what a good idea. Let's push them into the arms of people who are going to turn up round your house with a baseball bat if you haven't paid your 50 quid.
You haven't paid your bill, yeah.
Not the brightest idea. Have a bit of a fun now. I'm going to back off there, Ron, and you can tell them about what they demanded from you just for trying to open a simple little account with not a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, the Racing Post have revamped their website, and yesterday they had 2 new large banners down the sides inviting you. I've forgotten the name of it's new to me, this company. So I thought, well, okay, let's see what they want. So I went through the process of trying to open an account. I gave them all my details, so they know who I am, where I am, and all the rest of it. And then it says proceed. And now in the top left-hand corner, it said checks not completed. So I clicked on this checks not completed. And this page opens up and says, you've now got to provide 3 bits of information from the list below. One was passport, one was driving license, one was bank account details, and the other one was just called document. And so straight away, I'm thinking to myself, they're not getting any of that. So obviously, I'm not opening an account. Now, when you sent this through, that this was what we were going to chat about, I thought, well, I'll see what that's about. What is their legal challenge?
Uh-huh.
And it was saying that it's only going to be something like 2% of every account that people try to open will be asked for these details.
Allegedly,
yeah. Every account I've tried to open with bookmakers that I don't currently have an account with, I've been asked for this information. I must have tried 10 or 11 different bookmakers that I've never used before. They have all wanted the information that I got asked for again yesterday. So this 2%, what's all that about? Who is the 2%?
The Gambling Commission appear to mark their own homework when they come up with
statistics. It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
I wouldn't believe the 2%, never have done from the start. I'd like to add to that, my dear old mum who's no longer with us, bless her, she wouldn't have had a passport and she never learnt to drive.
Yeah.
So how on earth is she supposed to be able to fill out the appropriate documentation? She can't. I'm not suggesting she ever wanted to have a bet, to be fair. But if she did, she's not the only one. I'm sure there's plenty of people who haven't got a passport, haven't got a driving license. How are they supposed to
Yeah, yeah.
fill out the paperwork? Answer is they can't. They've got to send, I don't know, 6 latest bank statements, 4 pay slips. Hang on, they're pensioners, so they probably haven't got a pay slip. I don't know if that counts. It's gone out of all control. It's Big Brother is watching you. Even George Orwell didn't think of this when he wrote 1984. I'm going to put affordability checks in. He'd be spinning in his grave thinking, I wish I'd
Yeah,
put.
it would, wouldn't he? Yeah, yeah.
It's a joke. It's beyond comprehension. And
Yeah.
what it concerns me is it's going to cost racing money because they get a percentage of the profits that the bookmakers make. Racing's going to lose money out of this. The bookmakers are going to lose a little bit of money, but any other costs they're going to pass on to the punters, which means the punters that were, shall we say, breaking even or making a very small profit yesterday will suddenly be making losses tomorrow because the odds will have been contracted, no best odds guaranteed, no bonuses, etc. And all of a sudden, now they're making losses, they slip into the affordability net, which they wouldn't have been in before.
Yeah.
So you've created a downward spiral, a sort of toilet flush that's going down into the centre of the earth with no stop at the end of it. It's a nightmare. I don't know what the outcome's going to be. No one listens to the punters. No one's even listening to the BHA. No one's listening to anyone. A load of MPs, funnily enough, mostly in constituencies with racecourses, did write a letter to, is it Lisa Nandy, the Culture Secretary, asking us to be halted, whether they brought any pressure on the Gambling Commission and therefore that's why they postponed the implementation or
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
And that's for them to know and for me to guess. But I could imagine this getting tied up in the courts for years if the Gambling Commission,
Well, yeah.
if the Betting and Gaming Council take them to court. I can see it being in the courts for years because it seems pretty complicated to me and not something that's ever been tried before. I can't think, again.
So if that is the case, what I came up against yesterday will apply for all those years while it goes through the courts.
Well, yeah, it's one of the things that people forget, and I don't stand up for bookmakers at all. I was brought up where bookmakers were called the old enemy, and that still stands with me. Yeah, I'm not really there trying to take their money. I'm really there trying to take other people's losses. You're not going to take money from the bookmakers. I can't remember what I was going to say there, but it's not going to protect anybody. It's going to go on forever. People will move on, and racing will suffer. I really don't know.
Well, but not only racing, the exchequer, they estimate the exchequer will lose about £300 million a year from this farce.
What they're not noticing, and this is something that I'm going to bring up in a lot more detail in a letter that I plan to write to racing via the BHA, or I retire as chair of the HPF in a couple of months' time, and that is that I've just been, as is my want, despite my age, playing a silly little game on my iPhone, and every time you have to get an advert, and if you watch the advert, you get extra life, or that, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Every advert is win money on this, win money on that.
Well, it is, yeah.
Bubble this and mahjong that and solitaire this. It all implies you can simply win money. Have a look at them. I'm not suggesting you actually want to do that. Have a look at them. You'll find you have to deposit £10 on it or whatever. Then it's X pounds per go. And yes, you can win money. What's that called again? Oh yeah, gambling.
Gambling. Yes.
So my point behind that is that while they are pushing people away from racing and other sports and slot machines or whatever, I'm not a fan of slot machines, let's be honest. While they're pushing them away from there, someone else is going, oh, goody, I see a gap in the market here. Let's go after it. Now, I don't know what age controls there are on these ones, on the phones. I would question whether some of them allow it to slip through. They're not being stopped. They're not being looked at. They're not even being considered in any of this. So all you've got a load of gamblers who wanted to bet on racing who have been told you can't bet on racing. All they're doing is going, okay, I'll move over there. I'll bet on that.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop them gambling. It's not going to
Well,
stop.
I opened a lottery account on it. You know, the app on your phone for the National Lottery. Because we do a line on the Euro Millions for the members, right? Now, what they never asked me for anything. And they gave me a £500 per month spend limit.
Yeah.
It's mad.
They're covered under a different license to the other styles of gambling, but that doesn't mean that people won't just turn from one to the other. I'm not a compulsive gambler, I'm glad to say, and I feel sorry for those who are, because there's big risk involved if you are, so I'm not putting them down in any way or form. But if you want to lose your money, there are plenty of other ways. Stopping them doing it stopping it on doing on slot machines will not stop them walking in and buying 50 scratch cards at £10.
Yeah.
It won't stop them going onto these phones. It won't stop them buying 10 tickets in the Winner House lottery. postcode lottery, all the different bowlers and bingos that are constantly advertised on the TV these days. Alternative methods of gambling are appearing en masse now because they see a gap, and the gambling commission is still looking at it going, well, hang on a minute. If we're going to protect gamblers, we've got to protect all gamblers. We're going, oh no, we've got this particular remit and we've got to settle for that. You're just pushing them somewhere else. It doesn't work. It's a not in my backyard scenario. We've done our bit, washed our hands of it. Now they can lose their money wherever they want, and not good enough. Right, back to racing now. I've bored everyone to tears with my horse.
We'll do that again next week, no doubt.
Something else will break and something else will happen, but hopefully I'll try and give it a miss for 1 week. But it was plastered all over the Racing Post, so I couldn't see how we could ignore it.
No, we couldn't miss that. No.
And then you had your own personal scenario. You went, what? How much paperwork do they need? So fair enough. Move on to the lock-in.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
I think he's a very good horse. I think he's. Don't forget, this horse won a 2,000 guineas. You know, and he's now won 5 Group 1s. But I'll be honest with you, I think he was the only one, the only one in that race that could say he can win a Group 1.
Yeah.
I don't think the rest will win Group 1 races, unless they maybe go down in distance or something like that. They just got. I mean, the winner wasn't even pushed out to beat them comfortably. He picked them up and put them away like handicappers. I think he's a very good horse. He's now got the badge. He's wearing the T-shirt. I think it'll take a good one to beat him over a mile of his own age. I'd love to see him going against the younger horses.
Yeah. I think you just think a lot of people seem to sort of poo-poo them at the race a bit and say, oh, it's not a vintage renewal. It's a bit of a rubbish one. None of them are very good.
I'll be honest, hands up, I was one of those.
Yeah, I went and looked back historically using official ratings, which all you've got to go on other than popular opinion. Lead artist won it off a rating of 117. Audience was 114. Modern Games was 121. Notable Speech was rated 122 before the race.
Yeah.
You know, he was better than the last 3 winners before that. Okay, by Eagle, 125. That was back in 2022. How old does that make me feel? Alice Pier 125 in 2021. I sort of put down on my notes, if you like, I apologise to Connection this year's winner, because he's better than I thought he was. Well, a worthy winner on the day, suggesting my mind is playing tricks on me. At first glance, I looked at it and thought, it's not much of a Group 1, is it, really?
Exactly the same as me.
And then look at it after the event and go, I was wrong.
Hindsight, it's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
And next, I'm sure you had to go and look. I guess you had to go and look this up.
I'd actually, do you know what? I'd never recognised the name, but I'd seen the story.
Lady of Camelot.
When I checked the story, I thought, oh, hey, I saw that. I read about that. This retirement. You can have this one. You can have this one.
Australian superstar Lady Camelot. She was due to run at Royal Ascot. Now she's not going to run at Royal Ascot or anywhere else.
Or anywhere else? No.
She's been retired. She will probably start a new career as a broodmare. It's open to question whether her current owner will keep her in his broodmare string or sell her to go anywhere else. Why is that, you may well ask yourself? Every horse gets retired. Not very many get retired because they got stung on a beach by a stingray.
Stingray, yeah.
If you've seen this story, you're going to go, we know all about this. So we'll keep it short and sweet. Working on Brisbane Beach. Horses love to work in the water. It's fun.
They do.
It's a splash. It's very good for any minor injuries. The salt water toughens them up. It's a bit like, I don't know, I suppose, doing aquarobics as opposed to aerobics.
Yeah. Keeps the legs cold as well.
With the water against you.
Yeah.
It's exercise. But she had to be rushed to a specialist veterinary hospital. It was apparently touch and go at first.
Yeah.
I guess, they say whatever in Australia kills you, given half a chance, and that appears to have been a valiant attempt. Not major news, almost a throwaway item, to be honest with you, but a shame she won't make it to Royal Ascot. She's recovered now, will have a career as a broodmare somewhere or other. Just seems like a strange story I wanted to throw into the mix.
Yeah, interesting though, wasn't it? Different.
Weird. Yeah. Then we move on to the Preakness, which was run at
Now, this one is yours. You know the guy that trains this winner, don't you?
I do, and I try not to smile, and I'm not trying to big myself up here. I'm trying to big him up. Let's get that quite clear.
Yeah.
But those who are old enough to remember Man from U.N.C.L.E. will remember Napoleon Solo, and that was the name of the
Indeed.
horse. Yeah, trained by my mate, Mr. Cummings. Winner of the second leg of the American Triple Crown at Laurel Park. It's been run there for a couple of years, the Preakness. That's the second part of their Triple Crown. So, this is a big race. We're not talking a Mickey.
Yeah.
I'd no bets on, or as I've put no skin in the game. That must be me pretending I'm American while I write
American, that's definitely American, yeah.
I missed the race, and I looked at the results Sunday morning and thought, Chad Summers trained the winner. What's the chance of that? Now, this makes me feel ancient, I'm afraid. I ran to Chad, and I'd like to thank Laura King from World Horse Racing and other places that she works for introducing me and looking after me while I was over there. Breeders' Cup in 2018, it looks like. He ran a horse called Mind Your Biscuits. Very popular sprinter, won a Group 1 in Dubai. He then quit training to work in bloodstock and then came back to the job again. He's done that, and now he's won his first classic, for want of a better phrase, first Triple Crown race, £888,888.88. I wonder what exchange to the winner. He bought him for just, or they bought him for just $40,000. So that's not a bad return.
It's not bad.
But I wanted to mention this because Brad is a genuine guy. Now, I've written here, some talk to me because they have to, some because they want to. Now, at that time, and I'm not sure he's still in that category, he was quite happy to sit down. Now, none of my questions were deemed too stupid. Now, let's be realistic. My knowledge of American racing is fairly minimal. So I would have probably asked some daft questions. It wouldn't surprise me. He didn't glance at his watch once. He spent the entire evening with us. We sat down for dinner and a couple of beers with Laura as well. And the best bit was, at the end, he insisted on paying for it. So that was
tell you what a guy.
One of the highlights of my racing life, getting a trainer to buy me. When I found out he's won this, I have to say, I sat there beaming from ear to ear like a Cheshire cat. He's a really nice guy, really friendly, works hard. I can't even say he plays hard particularly. He works hard, gets the rewards for his work, and hats off. I wanted to get a mention into him because he's such a nice bloke, and most of the people listening to this probably won't have even heard of him. They might have heard of Mind Your Biscuits, but they probably won't associate trainer Chad Summers with him.
Yeah.
Well done, Chad. I doubt you're listening to this, so I might actually send him a link just for a laugh.
Send him the link. Send him the link. Yeah.
I will do. Right. Now, what I've written here, you're going to take this from the start. I'm just going to start it off for you. Finally, people often ask me if I get bored with horse racing, as if. Different horses every season, new trainers, new jockeys, improvers, those going backwards, jumps, flat, the all-weather. It's never-ending smorgasbord of fun. What we can't do is sit back on our laurels expecting to keep making a profit. We need to be constantly tinkering, looking for something new. Anything that gives an edge. Anyway, I think I've written this down. Over the bookmakers, it's not necessarily my brother punters. So, for those who put all the work in, if you follow the likes of Top Speed, you're unlikely to find too much value because every man his dog is following Top Speed. And that's no offence, they do a good job, but you're not getting any value there. Ditto horses who won last time out, informed jockeys, informed trainers, course and distance. Sometimes you have to think outside the box, and that's where you come in because that's what you want to talk about.
Yeah, well, you see, all those things you just mentioned, they're not an edge because everybody's got access to it, right? Now, an edge, the way I look at it is you found something that you believe nobody else has found, and that gives you an edge when it comes to the markets. You can go in and you can spot something that nobody else will spot. Now, the thing about an edge is that eventually other people do find it.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a pro punter called Mark Holder who constantly, I'm like him, he's like me. I'm always looking for something new, a different way of doing something to find the winner of a race. I mean, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, but not religiously. Now, the reason it's become a religion this year is because I'm of a mind that I've found an edge because people are now paying too much money for diesel. Now, because trainers can't travel their horses as much as they would probably like to, because it's like I explained in today's newsletter. If you're now being asked to pay £2.50 a mile, £3 a mile for the transportation of your horse, and your trainer wants to send it for a Class 5 at Pontefract all the way from Newmarket, say 650-mile round trip, you've got a whopping great big transportation bill before the race is even run. Now, I spotted a race today. It pays about $4,100 to the winner. I suppose this horse does go. Suppose this horse wins. I estimated and guesstimated that he's probably going to owe money after he's picked up his £4,100 because he's got the transportation fees, but he's not only got that, he's got to pay for the staff that go with the horse. If it requires an overnight stay, that goes on his bill. he's got to pay his 10% to the jockey and his 10% to the trainer. If he's gone to Pontefract himself to watch his horse, he might just as well hold his hands up and say, what's the point of going? And that's what I've found is that very few horses now are travelling. This is my edge. I'm letting you know my edge. I've started putting what I call icons next to a horse's name. And Vince has been tracking these horses since May the 1st. And we had a couple of very nice early winners. So he said on our social, we've got our own social media website called Facebook. Not Facebook, Facebook. You can join if you like. And what he's doing is he's tracking these horses with the 3 icons. Now, this week, it was Hamilton. You always got a lot of horses travelling to Hamilton because if they didn't travel, you'd have 2 and 3 runner races at Hamilton because there's only a couple of trainers like Jim Goldie and Ian Jardine, people like that, who would send horses to Hamilton. So I spotted a couple of races, and between them, they had nine horses with these 3 icons next to them. The first one, which was also 4th highest rated in my figures in a 15-runner race, won at 66 to 1. In the very next race, there were 3 or 4 in that one, and we got the 10 to 1 winner, which was 5th highest rated on my figures. So when you're working with my ratings and the icons and all the rest of it, I always look at my top 6 rated horses. I'm not really interested in outside the top 6. When I first started, which was 24 years ago, by the way, I got a LinkedIn message the other day saying, congratulations on your 24th anniversary as Post Racing. I was only interested in the top 6 rated horses, and it was only because a couple of members said, do you have full ratings for every single race? I said, yeah, of course. So I started putting them up. Took me an hour longer every day to do it, but that's now become the norm. So now I'm looking at other things because there are so few horses now with these 3 icons. It's probably only going to be weekend racing where you find them. That I'm now looking for another edge. So I found one. Yesterday I applied it to 3 of the 4 rated races. We got the first 3 winners up. No problem at all. No problem at all. One of them was called Trilby. It was my top rated. It was top rated on one of the other criteria sets I use. Top rated on the 3rd criteria set I use. It had been supported in the market. And I put that one up as what I call a buying money race, which means have whatever you like on this particular race because you are going to make a profit from it. And we did.
Hats off to that one.
Yeah, it bombarded. You know what? You stole me thunder.
Sorry.
But yeah, these are what I call an edge. Now, other people will work this out. You've got to think what's going on outside of racing that can influence racing. And at the moment, my thoughts, and I mentioned it to you earlier this week, wasn't it, about the diesel prices and the fact that so few horses now are travelling. So you're getting a few weird and wacky results because not only the trainers got these horses fit to run, but they're running them in races that don't suit them. And I've been looking at what we call the running to form percentage figures, the RTFs. Very few trainers at the moment are getting 50% or more. And that's because they're having to run their horses in races they can't win.
Yeah.
Normally at this time of the season, you'd see David O'Mara running an RTF of around about 54%. 29% at the moment he is. It's affecting everybody, especially the bookmakers. Now we've cottoned onto this edge.
Good. What we'll add into that, and I'm going to take the marketing so you don't go on forever.
Yeah, go on.
Postracing.co.uk, postracing, all one word, .co.uk. Go on there are various packages at various prices, various charitable donations you can make. Have a look around. I'm going to keep it short and sweet because we've got a lot to talk about. Go and have a look. This is where you're going to find this edge. You're not going to find it anywhere else. He's not going to give you the winners here.
No, they're not coming on here.
No. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, we've seen all sorts of things going on this week. I mean, I was looking at, do you remember you sent me a message about 150 to 1 winner?
Yeah.
It had won a bumper, and then this thing was, correct me if I'm wrong, was this not over
6 furlongs?
It was over 6 furlongs, and then we laughed about it.
We did.
And I had a look into it afterwards, and do you know what? With hindsight, this is the thing, you have to remember when my point with the edge is you need to find something that's usable, realistically usable. Now, I looked at this 150 to 1 winner. It was actually bred to be a sprinter.
It was.
without a shadow of a doubt. It's the last 2 races on the fact have been over a mile where it weakened late on. Didn't see out the mile. And did I spot that and have a big bet on the 150 on the shot? Did I, Eckers like? Because there isn't enough time to go into that much depth
There's
for
not.
anybody. If you think, with the possible exception of race, but if you think any national paper has got a racing desk of about 30 or 40 people on, which is what you would need to go through these races in depth, I'm sorry, you're deluded. They have.
Even then, you'd find 20 or 25 people coming up with a different solution for that race.
Absolutely. So you need to find something that you can put into action relatively easily. Nothing simple. Hard work gets rewarded. Ron works all the hours under the sun.
He's bonkers, this fella.
And I try to work as little as I can get away with, but that's nothing new. I looked at this on Tuesday when I wrote it. There were 311 runners before any non-runners were withdrawn in case I was. So if you allowed 3 minutes a horse, you'd need 15.5 hours. And 3 minutes isn't enough. Not really. Unraced maiden, yeah, of course it is. You're looking at the breeding. You've got something else that's run 47 times in a handicap. You can't do that in 3 minutes. So you've got to find an edge, as Ron puts it, which is the right terminology, way simplistic, preferably fairly simplistic way to look for, find yourself more ways.
The thing is, because I go and find it and share it with the members, they don't have to do a tap. All they have to do is back them.
See, now he's stolen my thunder, which is a bit where I was going to go, and postracing.co.uk is where you go to get your edge. But never mind, we're at 1-1 on the thunder stealing stakes for this week.
Go on.
And we move swiftly on. That's the end of the waffle. We've got 7 races to talk about, some of which have got short price favourites. That's just the way it goes. I'll remind everybody again, I picked the races, so don't blame Ron, blame me. Sometimes we do one handicap. There was so many listed in brute races, I even had to leave 1 or 2 out this week, believe it or not.
I know. Yeah.
I try not to do handicaps. We can avoid it. When you want to find the handicap winners, you go to postracing.co.uk. But we go with the 2 o'clock at Goodwood. 7 declared at the stage I look. Where are we now?
Well, as everyone by now knows, I love to get my teeth into 16-runner handicaps. I just love them. And I do that a lot in my day job, producing handicap figures for the subscribed members. We do brilliant work, if I may say so myself.
You may.
When we get to listed class and better, we're very nearly always dealing with small field races. While we get our share of winners looking in there for those particular horses, and don't forget we made 113 points profit from the podcast just last summer, May to September. It's not to be sniffed at. By the way, I'll be leaving a link to postracing.co.uk at the bottom of the podcast.
Well done.
So if you just scroll down a little bit, you'll see it. Give us a visit. Only 5 are going to post here, and we've already got a well-supported odds-on favourite in Saxon Street. And the 5 runners are 28 to 1 or bigger. So basically, we've got a 3-horse race and a 5-horse race. None of these horses have been ridden previously by the jockey that is booked to ride them tomorrow. I've never seen that before. Never seen that before. Saxon Street is trained by the Gosdens, who've been responsible for 6 of the last 17 winners of this race. I see that 16 of the last 20 winners have also retained an SP shorter than 4 to 1. The front 2 qualify. Both have only had 2 previous runs in their lives. Stats, they all say Saxon Street is the most likely winner. 2 of the last 3 winners also arrived unbeaten, including Gregory, which was also a Gosden winner. I'm going with Saxon Street.
Yeah, it's one of those horrible races, isn't it?
Yeah, it gets better though.
Well, hopefully so. Oh, hey, if I can give all winners at 4 to 5 out of all the races, I'll be more than happy with that.
You will? Yeah.
But that's not going to happen, of course. But you did have a 13 to 2 winner last week. I'm going to blow my trumpet.
You did. I was going to mention that in a minute.
I'll steal your thunder on that one as well. Yeah, Gosden's won 3 of the last 10. Saxon Street, interestingly, considering this is a listed race, he still holds a Derby entry. I would think he's very unlikely to head to Epsom.
Yeah.
Running this near. We're talking about the 23rd. It's 2 weeks away. Seems
2 weeks away. Yeah.
Seems a bit sharp, so I can't see him going there, quite frankly. I don't think he's bulletproof. He can't be after only 2 starts. We don't really know just how good he is, do we?
No idea. So, yeah. Up north. Aye. Yeah.
258 Haydock, 6 furlongs, Group 2, Sandy Lane Stakes.
Yeah. It's an 8-runner race, this one, Group 2 for 3-year-olds. It's that time of season when all the 3-year-olds are just getting chucked out. Go and get a run into them. And this time, I believe I can really ask the market for advice. It's telling me that the winner is most likely front two on the tissue again. It has been for the last 4 years. It has been in 7 of the last 8 runnings of this race. So it's one of Division or Venetian Sun. Currently 11-4 each of 2, or it was when I first looked. It was then round about 9-2 bar the pair. Now, Venetian Sun went off 9-2 for the 1,000 guineas, and it's possible, probable even, she didn't get the mile at Newmarket because they brought her back to sprinting right away. No second chances at the mile, back to 6 furlongs. I'd say Division is currently the best backed of the two, 7-2 into 11-4 when I was looking. He was beaten just half a length by tomorrow's third favourite in this race, Koppel, who opened 3-1. You can now get 9-2, so that's taking a proper walk in the market, that. Division, previous course and distance winner, which I like when it comes to Haydock. And whilst that form is actually light years away of what will be required tomorrow, the market's saying that the improvement's expected. I can Dutch the 2 for a profit, and that would be my play here. But for the podcast, I'm going to go with Venetian Sun. Now, she beat this season's 2,000 guineas runner-up at Deauville last season when winning the Prix Morny. That was Gstaad. And if coming back to sprinting is what is needed, she can get back in the winner's enclosure. She's officially £8 superior to Division, and tomorrow gets the £3 allowance. That means, in theory, Division's got to improve around about a stone to beat the Burke Train filly. I'm going with Venetian Sun.
Yeah, I must get to go first on one of these races. It's been a funny old race. Charlie Appleby won it last year. We've seen recent winners. We've seen as short as 6-5 on and as big as 33-1. So anything's possible here. Now, Carl Burke did an interview yesterday, I believe it was. I couldn't get on it because I was working. It was a Zoom call where he did a media thing. He's all over her. Venetian Sun has improved out of all recognitions for Newmarket. She may well go up to 7 after this. They're undecided to stick to 6 or go up to 7, but I do think they believe a mile is probably stretching. You have to understand that she was a respectable 6-length 11th to True Love. The race was run at a ferocious pace. It was faster than the 2,000 guineas. That's no
Yeah.
Weakened inside the final furlong. She dropped back to 6. On breeding, it looks more suitable as a daughter of Starman. She won the Group 1 Prix Morny over this trip as a 2-year-old. A little bit of cut in the ground won't do her any harm, you know. She won the Prix Morny. She handles a bit of cut in the ground. I think she's a class act. I think we'll see her back to her best, and I think she wins.
Yeah.
There you go. How cocky is that? But yeah, I think.
Are we singing from the same hymn sheet this evening, or what?
I think so. Yeah. Thank God you sent the notes over because I didn't bother. Not entirely true. I'm sure we will differ at some time over the day. In fact, I'm pretty certain we will do in a minute. But still, we're going over the Irish Sea to the 305 at the Curragh next.
We are. And here we have my 200-1 winner from last season. For Glory running with Jamie Spencer going over to ride it and giving Jack Ajaro the elbow.
Yep.
That interested me. We'll go into that in a minute. Powerful Glory was one of my 20 to follow last season, and actually won one of our members a season-long competition. He never told me how much he won, but he won the competition basically on the last day of the season because he put up Powerful Glory as his nap selection because it was in the 20 to follow. And we've only had one winning favourite of this in the last decade, and this one is currently priced up as favourite. Only one horse has won this off an absence longer than 77 days in the last 10 years. I'd certainly be looking front 6 on the tissue. 8 of the last 10 winners were. So if I remove the favourite, Powerful Glory, and that's reluctantly, and concentrate my efforts on working only with horses trading a single figure price, and that's a good idea because 16 of the last 20 winners were, then my shortlist is Bucanero Fuerte, Montasib, Comanche Brave, and Spycatcher. Now, I'm looking at age groups next, and 9 of the last 12 winners have been aged 5 or younger. So if I take out the older horses here, I've got Bucanero Fuerte, Comanche Brave. And now, since this mark has opened, everything, with the exception of Powerful Glory, has been drifting. 14 of the last 20 winners, though, have been drawn 1-4. I've got to work with Comanche Brave. Ryan Moore's riding it for Donnacha O'Brien. I've got the right man on side in the saddle. I'm going to put him up as a 2080. He's drifted from 5-1 to 9-1. I'm not bothered about that. It's like we always used to say when I was working with Aztec Gold, never be afraid of a drifter, especially when Ryan Moore's on board.
Can't blame you. Apart from I have to give you the bad news, he's back into sixes, so some money's come. Yeah, I don't like this race at all. Just going to be completely honest. Good
Yeah,
strong
no,
Indian party. We got 50% of the runners going over. We won it plenty of time. Won the last 4 run-ins, in fact. Powerful Glory is the best on official ratings. After winning the champion sprint at Ascot, odds are 200 to 1, as you said. Can he repeat that level? We'll soon find out, won't we? One thing I liked about him is he's lightly raced for a 4-year-old. He's only had 5
yeah,
star, and he's won 3
yeah,
of them. I'm hopeful he may have more to offer with another winter on his back. The fact he's only had 5 races at that age suggests he's a late maturing type, so there may be more to come. He won on his debut in 2024, so the fact that he's coming here fresh after a long layoff worries me slightly less. It sounds like he's the sort they can get ready if they want to. I'd be a bit happier if the Fari Yard were in better form. When I wrote it was a 17% strike. Well, it's gone up. I think it's gone up. It was 17% when I wrote it. They're up to 48%. So they must have suddenly started to hit some winners to
yeah,
jump
yeah.
that statistic in a couple of days. Yeah, Powerful Glory for me, not my most confident selection. Let's put it that way.
What's brought the improvement about is the wind up.
Yeah,
He won a 200 to 1 second race after a wind up. Now, if it was the wind that was stopping him, and I recognised how good he was as a juvenile, which was why he was in my list last season, then he could be anything this season, couldn't he?
exactly. It could be anything or nothing, as they say. You
Yeah,
never
yeah,
know. But yeah, I mean, I think I know he's officially the best horse there. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that rating is realistic. If I'm honest with you, winning at 200 to 1, I'd be, if I was a handicapper, I'd be tempted to put a line through that race and look at other, just
yeah,
by definition. But then he's
yeah,
still a champion sprint, so I'm not knocking him for it. I don't take the rating as the reason why. I take the fact that he might have more improvement to come.
yeah,
Is the reason why I've gone for him. But with little confidence. On to the 310 at Goodwood next, back down
yeah,
south.
yeah. Whoop, whoop. A double figure field.
Yeah,
Now, 8 going for this fillies listed event, but again, we have this problem of it all being 3-year-olds, extremely lightly raced, all open to improvement, or the potential to go backwards.
yeah,
6 of the 8 are being ridden by their named jockeys tomorrow. I know what I mean. For
yep.
the very first time. It all smacks of this meeting, the Goodwood meeting, relegated behind the likes of Haydock and the Curragh.
Feels that way. Yeah,
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's not as simple to solve as the first race we spoke about, because 3 of the last 5 winners returned SPs of 25 to 1, 15 to 2, and 12 to 1. And that was 12 to 1 last season. So it's become a little bit difficult. The years 2016 to 19 inclusive produced our winner from the front 2 on the tissue, so it was a bit easier back then. But since then, it's alternated between the favourite winning and outsider winning, the favourite winning and outsider winning.
sounds about right.
When it isn't the favourite, it's a horse that's trading outside the front 3 on the tissue. Now, if that sequence is maintained, then tomorrow is the favourite's turn. You can see how much I put into this one, can't you?
You can.
Before you laugh. I found the winner last week by advising that you waited until the stalls were being loaded and bet the favourite and then go and collect. And the favourite won it at 100 to 30. I only did that because the horse that I had selected originally, remember, you reminded me at the time that it's a non-runner.
Yeah, yeah,
So all I had left was this stat regarding the favourites, which came up trumps. Tomorrow's favourite is Earthshot, trained by Haggis,
yeah.
ridden by Tom Marquand, which suggests to me that they've gone there to win this race because stable jockey, whereas most stable jockeys aren't following their horses and their yards to Goodwood, he's going there to ride it. Now, he was on board when it won at Newmarket, but flew in by 5 lengths. This all tells me that tomorrow the horse is fancied. This meeting was not second or third best in the mind of this trainer, Haggis. He sent his number 1 jockey to ride. He's the only runner in the race without an official rating. So I have no idea how good or otherwise she is, but she's my pick here. Earthshot.
I can see why you've done that, and the money is certainly down. There's no doubt about that.
Well, what price now?
11 to 10.
Whoa, dear.
So loads of money coming for that one. Doesn't stop me opposing it. I like a bit of racing history. This is the height of fashion stakes for those old enough, and that sort of doesn't even really include me.
The Queen's horse.
Yeah, owned by the Queen. A decent enough horse in her own right, but also the Dam of Nashwan and Naif and Unthwain and others. So a fantastic broodmare who thoroughly deserves a name raced off, a race named after even. Yeah, it's a tough race to call. I can see why Earthshot heads the betting, I suppose. I don't think what she's achieved on the course is anything better than what Brilliant Star has achieved on the course. And yet you can get 4-1 Brilliant Star, 11-10 Earthshot. Can I work out which one is the best of the two? No, not really. You would say Earthshot is entered in the Irish Oaks still, so there is a possibility that she's that good, and that may be why she's as short as she is. Brilliant Star's won her last 2 starts by 10 lengths-ish, each by 10 lengths-ish, so that takes some doing. Okay, they're only novice events at Yarmouth and Kempton, both made over further where she made all the running. I can see those same tactics being tried here, dropping in trip, and I can see them say, come on in, catch me if you can. And that might not be the case. It might be the case. One thing I'd like to sort of break in fractionally, I can't stand the New Racing Post website. It's an absolute nightmare. However, if they've done one positive thing, it's the one that you've used and mentioned that we've never mentioned before. It's like, this is the first time the jockey's ridden this horse. You used to have to go and look at that on all your previous runnings to find that out. Now it's marked with a 1 next to it, next to the jockey's name. You know, credit where it's due, hats off for that. I think that's potentially something useful for us in the future, especially if you've got a dodge pot as well. So I might even look the other way around. Well, I look the other way around. I'm not saying On Message is going to win this. I'm not saying he's not. I'd look at On Message, go, okay, Hector Crouch has ridden him before. Now I'll go and have a look and see, or it might be her actually, sorry, ridden her before. Hector Crouch has ridden her before. Let's go and have a look and see how he got on. Oh, she's only won 2 of her 7 starts, but both of them were when Hector Crouch was riding. I'm making that up, by the way. I haven't looked. That in itself could be another pointer when we're talking about looking for edges. Whereas, as you say, you look at that and go, well, Benoit de Lossayette, oh, he's never ridden Brilliant Star before. If it's a bit of a dodge pot, you think, well, that's a bit questionable. Then, as a front runner who's won her last 2, I'm not overly bothered. But it's something worth looking at. I just sort of throw that into the equation. But Brilliant Star for me, I think 4-1 is the better value of the 2. Is she the better horse? We won't know till after the race.
We'll find out later. Yeah.
Could have egg on my face completely, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Now we're going back to somewhere else. It's not quite as north, or is it? I'm not sure. York.
North again.
Is York further north than Haydock? I'm not sure. Oh, is it?
Slightly, I would suggest.
Off to York then. Mile and 3/4. What do you reckon this one? 3:15 at York.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of long distance races on the flats. My cut off when I'm working on handicaps is 12 furlongs. There's very few. There aren't that many 1 mile 6 furlong races, to be honest with you. Not that horses compete over on a regular basis. I'm also definitely not a fan of a horse that's trading 8-11, that's boasting ground stats of 0 from 2 and trip stats reading 0 from 1. Most likely the ground rides nothing like as currently described tomorrow because it's been toasty warm outside today, around about 24 degrees here. Don't know what it's been like with you. And everywhere now will be drying rapidly. Now, the problem that you've got, if you're betting the Haydock tomorrow, for instance, is that was heavy ground yesterday. And as that's drying out, it won't become quicker. It'll become holding. So it'll ride possibly even slower than heavy. I watched the first race today from that track. It took them nearly 15 seconds to run the last furlong.
Really?
So that tells you that ground is riding like a bog. You want to be working only with high-drawn horses tomorrow as well at Haydock on the straight course, because anything coming up the middle, forget it. And the other side, forget it. Anyway, back to this one. Stats are rock solid concerning the second favourite, which I like because the second favourite has won the last 3 runnings of this race. And the fact we've only had 7 previous editions of this race, it makes it impossible for me to do what I'd call a profile of it. But I'm going to put up Miss Alpiles, the current second favourite, 2 from 5 on the ground, a previous winner at the trip. I'd much rather have a shekel on that one at 9-2 than a bean on the favourite at odds on. There's nothing in the stats to tell me that favourite's a good thing. So I'm going for Miss Alpiles.
It's intriguing. It's like a reverse of the last race.
Where it is.
You opposed the favourite in the last. Sorry, you went for the favourite last race. I opposed it. You opposed the favourite. I'm going for it. Will I be backing her at 11-8 on? Probably not. I don't think. I remember last time I did it, backed an odds on shot unless I stuck a quick hacker together. Maybe she got a stone in hand of these. She's a stone better than any of them. I think it's exactly a stone. Double check. 614. She's rated 114. What else we got in here? Yeah, yeah. She's rated exactly a stone better than Lava Stream. She's placed over this trip in better company than this. If she's fit first time out, of course. Do you want to take 8 to 11 on a horse making its seasonal debut? That's the other question you have to ask yourself before opening the wallet. Should she win? Yeah, she should. She should win with her head in her chest, quite frankly. And I suspect she will. Will I be backing her? No, not at that price, to be honest with you. It's a race to sit back and watch.
There's too many negatives about the stats and the. I'm just not convinced.
I think she handles any ground. I mean, she's run well on heavy. She's run well on good to soft. She's run well on good ground. So I don't think the ground's going to be an issue. Whether she's at her very best in it, open to question. Does she need to be at her very best if she's got a stone in hand?
Probably not. No.
So as long as she's fit enough to do herself justice, there's a difference between fit and race fit. No one's implying that the trainer doesn't get them ready. They're ready, but they're not race fit if they haven't had a race. So if she's fit enough, she's good enough, and she wins this with her head in her chest. If not, so be it. And we move swiftly on before I make a bigger fool of myself. And I'll tell you what I quite liked. I quite like the look of Rock and Roll Pinky. Guaranteed stayer. No issue with staying. But she's rated £30 inferior, so it's going to take some turning round to do that. But just all caught up on. I've got a horse that's not even on our races. I need to go off air, by the way, just for fun. To Haydock next, the Temple Stakes over 5 furlongs. Now, I got a funny feeling that the ground you were talking about just now is going to come into play here, but I'll leave that up to you to tell me.
Well, when I look at a race, especially 24 hours in advance of the darn thing, I don't know what the ground is going to be riding like.
No.
I haven't got a clue. I do know at the moment, one of the jockeys, I think it was Rossa Ryan, described the ground as gluey. And if that's the case, then honestly, stick to high-drawn horses tomorrow, especially on the straight track. But this is an absolute belter of a race any other year. You've got 13 runners in a Group 2 sprint. And unsurprisingly, they're going 11 to 2 the field. Now, we've got a proper springer in the market, Jackajaro. When this market first opened, you could have got 25 to 1. You can get 9 to 1 now. Because it looks like now they've learned to ride the horse. Gates open, let it roll. What puts me off? Jockey booking. I explained before that Jamie Spencer's gone to the Curragh to ride Powerful Glory. Rather than stick with the horse that he's ridden twice to victory this year in this Group 2 sprint, they've got Edward Greatrex up on board. As I say, he's got the 2 wins this season with Jamie Spencer on top. That just puts me off. If I was on a 25 to 1, I'd be thinking, I wish Jamie Spencer was on board. The last 2 winners of this have retained SPs of 12 to 1 and 10 to 1, but usually speaking, you want to be looking at front 3 on the tissue. Right now, I'm looking at one of Night Raider, who was actually pretty easy to bet today. Might be the ground. Asfora, the Australian. Is she now over here permanently?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Joined a new market yard and looked to be suffering from a bit of jet lag first time out. It's probably going to be like a new training regime for her.
Yeah.
What am I doing up at this time of the day, even though it's daylight? Beaten easily by Night Raider in the Palace House. And the other one I'm looking at is Curragh. I think the race that was run at Newmarket, the Palace House Stakes, holds the key to this one as well. A few of these might improve for that first run, especially Jim Goldie's horses. They're not flying along. He's got American Affair, might well come forward for the first run, but I'm mindful of the fact that that horse won first time out in his last 2 seasons. So has he reached his peak? Has he done his job? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to suggest that we use the Palace House form for this race. But here, I'm going to put up the 3rd place horse that day, Curragh, as a 2080. I'm not sure whether it can win it or not, but I think now that Clive Cox knows exactly what he's got, and that was his first run for him, he's a brilliant trainer of sprinters. The horse is a previous course and distance winner. I've got to go with Curragh 2080.
Yeah, this is a race that I'm sort of looking at the last minute runners in case there's been any changes. Carl Burke's Night Raider will not run if the ground remains too soft.
Who's that?
Carl Burke's Night Raider won't run if...
Night Raider. I was thinking it was the ground that was causing the drift.
Yeah, it doesn't want it too soft, defined too soft. Carl will make that decision. If he doesn't run, then he says, scrolling down the page very slowly while talking, because he's not very clever at that sort of thing, then you will find that Beautiful Diamond will have Clifford Lee on board and they'll switch jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
That is what Carl said will happen. That might not happen because things change overnight. That's what Carl said yesterday. Night Raider's absolutely buzzing at home. If the ground's good enough, then Night Raider, I think, is the horse to beat without a kind of a doubt. I'm going to put him up anyway because I don't. He's still there as a runner as we do the podcast. It's what now? It's 5:30 on Friday night. We're not going to know before tomorrow morning.
No, no.
At best, so I'll put him up. I might have a non-runner, in which case I apologise, but I'd rather Carl Burke took him out if he can't win on the ground that's
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
There's plenty
At
of
least then you can't lose.
yeah. There's plenty of breeze up there by all accounts. The ground is drying out relatively fast. That was his opinion yesterday. We'll have to wait and see. As for her, I mean, if she improves for that first run of the season, she's the best horse in the race here.
By a mile, yeah.
By a country mile. She won the Prix de la Veille, so she won't any cut in the ground. I mean, I don't think she needs cut in the ground. If you win a La Veille in Paris, then you can handle cutting the ground.
Yeah.
She's absolutely a class act. I'm just going to click on official ratings while I'm here and see where she sits. Yeah, she sits on a rating of 114, only a pound clear of American Affair, who has to give her £2, which is a bit of a surprise. But she's a class act. If she's fit now, then fine. I get the feeling that she might be Royal Ascot bound, and that she may
I think so too. Yeah.
even need this possibly to bring her back to
Well,
us.
it's like today they were interviewing Richard Hannon on television earlier on, and he was telling punters straight, do not back Hat Arm today.
All right.
He was saying the horse still got her winter coat. We're running now. We're getting ready for Royal Ascot, where she's won the last 2 years.
Often. I love.
He was totally honest, totally open, and they went back to the studio and they said, well, at least we know where we stand with that one now.
You got to love Hughes. He's straight up and tells it as it is. I haven't run into him as many times as I'd like to, because a few times I've run into him, he comes over as a decent bloke, to be honest with you, and no airs and graces, straightforward, and that's it. And that's what you want from a trainer, stroke jockey, stroke pundit, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Carden run a big race. I remember him going all the way.
Yeah, I was looking at that one. Yeah.
I think it was Hong Kong. It could have been Avery Derby. I could always have a look if I was bothered. But he went all the way to somewhere for him.
And didn't run.
Yeah.
Something happened at the start, didn't it? Yeah,
that's it. It was Hong Kong in December, and it was I think the saddle slipped. Yeah. Ryder lost his irons, always in rear, started slowly, finished actually still managed to beat one home, believe it or not. Despite Murphy riding without any irons. I'd like to see him run well. He's a nice horse, and you should have seen Charlie Hill's face when when there was not going to be a race ridden.
Yeah.
You put a brave face on it. We don't travel that far to see a horse basically written off at the start, do you?
Shame on it.
I'd like to see him go well. J.M. Jungle's perfectly capable.
Yeah.
You're saying Robert Cowell's as good a trainer of sprinters as anyone out there, really.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful Diamond will outrun. Forget last time. He fell out of the stalls. It's not his racing style at all. He had no chance.
It's one of those races you could pick 6. You could.
I'm going to go with Carl Burke to win it. How's that sound? I'm going to go with Night Raider. If Night Raider doesn't run, then I'll go for Beautiful Diamond each race.
Beautiful Diamond.
16-1 now. You'd probably get a rule 4, of course, if the other one's pulled out.
Yeah.
He'll run a big race. I say ignore his last one. He fell out of the stalls. He's a front running sort. His race was over the minute the stalls opened. If he doesn't do that again, different matter entirely. And now we move on to I'm pretty certain. Well, we have an odds-on favourite. Whether it's an odds-on shot you're going for, we'll have to wait and see. 340 at the Curragh, the Little Matter of the Irish, 2,000 guineas.
Well, I mean, it will be a major shock if Gestad doesn't win this, won't it?
Say that, yeah.
It's 14-1 bar 4 of the 10 going to post. So there's 10 going to post, but there's only 4 got even a smidgen of a chance.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not even going to, after seeing what happened at Newmarket and the fact that they'd spent the 30,000 quid to get it back in the race after the computer glitch, and to see the way it ran there were loads of good vibes coming out of Ireland about the horse. He just bumped into one on the day. Everybody knew how good the Beau Thingy was.
Yeah.
And that's so it proved. But without that winner in the race, Gestad has won the 2,000 guineas by about 6 lengths. And if he'd won that by 6 lengths, what price would he be tomorrow for this?
Yeah.
1 to 5, 1 to 6. I'm not even going to try and get him beaten, I'll be honest with you. But at 49, I'm not going to be backing him either. I'd much rather have a little place-only play on Al Parslan,
Yeah.
Colbeck.
Mm-hmm.
Won at this track last September. Proved he'd trained on when he won the Group 3 Greenham at Newbury in April. I don't think he'll beat Gestad in a month of Sundays, but he might hit the frame, and he's got to be half a decent price. You might even get better than the 49 to place. I haven't checked that out. Not gospel, but I'll go for Al Parslan, place only.
We're 17-2 at the moment,
There you go.
which is going to be much better than that. The
Yeah.
fact that he won the Greenham and then avoided Newmarket,
Yeah.
which you wonder why, and then having a quick look down, he's won on Good to Firm, he's won on Yielding as well. So I wonder whether they've saved him for Ireland to try and get a bit of cut in the ground.
Possibly.
That's conspiracy theory or us. No, I can't oppose Gestard. At the risk of correcting Ron, it's eight lengths he'd have won the Guineas by. 8.
Oh, was it 8? Sorry about that.
Well, how
I
many
cut
Guineas
2
win?
lengths off.
6 or 8 lengths, who cares? But, you know,
Yeah.
they must be first. Now, word was at the time he needed the run. Although who's not disappointed if Yorks finishes second in a 2,000 Guineas, but they weren't really that disappointed because they knew he would improve for the run. So I can't oppose him. The one that intrigues me, and if I was given, here's a 50p place bet for charity, sure, who would you put it on? Go Just Do It.
Do you know when I looked at that? I gave that more than 2 looks.
He won a Gowran Park maiden.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all he's won.
Yeah.
And here he goes into the Irish 2,000 Guineas. So you think, what idiot trainer put him in there? Joseph O'Brien.
Joseph O'Brien. Yeah.
Who is anything but an idiot trainer by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously comes from the O'Brien family.
Yeah.
Is he as good as his dad? No, not yet, but I can see that in time he probably will be. May even be the golden boy who takes over at the stable one day. Who knows?
Probably.
Oh, I've written down here I might be clutching at straws, but he was 50 to 1. He's now 33. Whether that means anything is someone's had 10 pence on him, probably. That's all that means. It's just an intriguing thing to do, to send a maiden into a classic on what is fifth start. Just as things are strong things to do. I think Gestard wins it. I can't oppose him.
No.
And I couldn't make my mind up between Distant Storm. Why are Godolphin letting Distant Storm take on Gestard again?
I have no idea.
And they've got 8 links to find. Do they think he's improved that much? He's got first-time cheap pieces on. I don't know if cheap pieces can improve horse. Improve it 8 links? I don't think so.
No. And especially if Gestard's going to come on for the run as well.
Exactly. So do they know? Obviously, do they know something we don't? Alparsian, like you said, did it, or is it Alparsian or Alparslan? My eyes aren't all that.
I'll pass something anyway. Carl Bergsaddles.
Has he been safe to come here because of the softer ground? Who knows? So you know the list goes on. But I couldn't 5 to 1 and 17 to 2. There's no really. There's some place value in there, but it's not massive. If I was going to have each way,
No.
Go Just Do It at 33 to 1 looks like a fun bet for nothing. But I can't see doing anything other than win this. And now, before we go on to the something for the weekend, because Ron doesn't know I'm going to do this. No, it's not his birthday. Don't worry, everybody.
No, definitely not.
It's 7:15 at Salisbury tomorrow night. It's not one of our races. It's a small listed race over 6 furlongs. British Stallion Studs, EPF, Cathedral Stakes, yawn,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Guess who's running? Oxted. Do you remember Oxted?
He was a good horse.
He was a good horse.
He was a very good horse.
He was last seen finishing 3rd to Starman in the Group 1 on July course. I'm guessing it's the July Cup on the 10th of July, 2021.
Wow.
He was then retired as a good old boy. He deserves it. He'd earned it. He needs his retirement. Bless him. He hates it. Hates retirement. Likes his routine. They've waited this long. He's a 10-year-old now. I'm not saying he's going to win the 7:15. I haven't even looked at the form for the field. But hopefully it's a good news story, a smiley story, a warmth to your heart story. He's coming back at the age of 10, not because they're trying to win money with him, because the horse is bored. He's been a hack for Roger Till's wife I think it's his wife by all accounts. And he's got a bit bored. He likes the normal training regime. He's still got all his hunger to win. Comes back as a 10-year-old for his first race in close to 5 years. So good luck, Oxted, tomorrow night.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, and do you know what? I've got to watch that race now.
Had to throw that in. I found out about it after we'd written the paperwork for the podcast, so that's why I've thrown it at you without you knowing anything about it. I can't let him run unmentioned. It's just not fair, is it? Okay, what's your something for the weekend, sir?
I'm going for Chagrin 2080.
In what race is that?
I was in the big one at Haydock.
Okie dokie. I'm going for Venetian Sun in the 258 at Haydock. So,
Yeah, I was so tempted, but I'm glad I didn't now.
yeah, we've only done. Carl Burke just talks so highly of her.
Yeah.
And how much she's grown and strengthened, and how she should be better this season. And okay, the Guineas was worth the time. She bowled along up in the front rank in a fast
Yeah,
run.
she was up there. Yeah. Only weekend in the last 2 furlongs.
Yeah, if she was ever going to not get home, then that speedily run 1,000 Guineas was going to find her out. And
It was, yeah.
quite frankly, it did. But yeah, I think she handles cutting the ground as she won the Pre-Morny. She's come back stronger than ever. She's 5-2. I actually don't think that's a bad price. So yeah, Venetian.
No.
I'd like to point out I actually had my place as my something for the weekend last week, even though it was 11-4. It was about 8-1 when I tipped it.
It was, yeah.
And there were no non-runners or all fours, I might add. So somebody
It's all these people listening to this, you know.
what, both of them?
Yeah, all 2 of them, yeah.
One of them is my son, the other one's your brother. But no. Right, so we got our something for the weekend. Anything else we need to add?
No, only that I'm going to go down and cook fajitas now because I'm starving.
He's always starving, that boy. Okay, in that case, we'll sign off. Apologies for being late. You can blame me for that.
No
I think
problem.
it's the first time in all these years, so I'm not going to apologise too dramatically about it. But have a good weekend. It's looking like barbecue weather.
It is.
Let's hope we give you a few winners. So instead of sausages, you might be able to afford steak. Have a good one, everybody.
Yeah, take care. See you now.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.